Best known by his pen name, Jack Ketchum is a well-known American horror fiction author. Born Dallas William Mayer, he was an only child of German immigrant parents, growing up in Livingston, New Jersey. He started creating stories at a very young age using props such as dinosaurs and plastic soldiers as characters. He explained that socializing was generally not his cup of tea and spent most of his time when he was younger in his room or in the woods near his house. This time alone allowed him to be creative with making up stories. However, some of his other interests growing up included reading, comics, and rock and roll. An early interest in horror was awakened in Ketchum thanks to the classical Universal monsters such as The Hunchback of Notre Dame and The Phantom of the Opera. As such, he credits his love for Elvis Presley, dinosaurs, and horror for getting him through his formative years. As a teenager, Ketchum befriended Robert Bloch, author of Psycho. Bloch quickly became his mentor after a time. Ketchum later earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in English from Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts. Prior to becoming a writer and completing his first novel, Ketchum worked various jobs, with one of the most marked being an agent for the novelist Henry Miller at Scott Meredith Literacy Agency. His encounter with Miller inspired part of his work in his memoir Book of Souls. Other jobs he took on included being a one-time actor, a high school teacher, a lumber salesman, and a short-order cook at his parents' luncheonette and soda fountain. Ketchum's first novel, Off Season, was published in 1980. This novel was subsequently slated as violent pornography. This did not deter the young writer, as he continued to heavily touch on the violence that can be found in everyday life in subsequent works. Prior to this, Ketchum sold fiction and nonfiction articles and stories to many rock and roll and men's magazines. Deciding to concentrate on novel writing was spurred on the heels of a preference toward work stability and longevity. Prior, he had written and directed a few plays, but had never jumped into writing entirely. Apart from his innately creative mind, Ketchum was an avid reader of well-known authors such as Ernest Hemingway and Jim Harrison. Reading was an essential tool that propelled him far into a successful writing career. Thus, he was the recipient of 4 Bram Stoker Awards and 3 further nominations. His other novels include Offspring and Red, which were adapted into film. In 2011, Ketchum received the World Horror Convention Grand Master Award for outstanding contributions to the horror genre. Prior to these recognitions, Ketchum wrote under a different pen name early on in his career. Known as Jersey Livingston, Ketchum sold a vast amount of short fiction and articles to magazines. Because he often had more than one piece published in a specific magazine, he would use his own name for the first byline and then adopted a pseudonym for the others. This particular pen name was inspired by Ketchum immersing himself in the work of Polish author Jerzy Kosinski. He later explained that he liked the in-joke this original pen name provided. Some books written under his more commonly known pseudonym of Jack Ketchum include Offspring, Roadkill, Joyride, Stranglehold, Ladies' Night, Right to Life, Hide and Seek, Cover, She Wakes, and The Girl Next Door, which tracks the abuse of 2 teenage sisters and is based on the torture and murder of Sylvia Likens. In addition to an outpouring of novels throughout his career, Ketchum has also written various works that have become films. Some of these include Red, a revenge story that deals with the subject of animal abuse, The Lost, the story of a serial killer, Mail Order, The Woman, How to Score with Girls, Darlin, The Life of Death, Beyond Blood, Dark Dreamers, and Inside the Plain Brown Wrapping. He also has written various short fiction works including The Exit at Toledo Blade Boulevard, Broken on the Wheel of Sex, Peaceable Kingdom, and Closing Time, and other stories. Following a most prolific career of writing in various forms, Ketchum died of cancer on January 24, 2018, in New York City at the age of 71. His works continue to influence the genre of horror today.